Welcome, 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 everyone. Everyone, welcome to Toledo to the world. We are here in Toledo, Ohio, the 419, as we call it, and we are inviting everyone outside of the state of Ohio, outside the city of Toledo, to come in and join us as we celebrate Toledo together. I am your host, Deborah Sue, and my co host, Rochelle Russell, who is usually here with me. She is recovering, so we like to wish Russell. I'm getting tongue tied tonight. We like to wish Rochelle a speedy recovery, and we'll see you back with us when you're with us next time, sis. Tonight we have a really, really interesting show. We have wonderful, wonderful art guests on tonight, and we have an artist on as well. But my very first guest is one of my very favorite people in Toledo. I go back with this lady quite some years now. And I have to tell you, she is one of my favorite people in Toledo, not just because she's our social butterfly, but because she is actually a very, very wonderful woman. And so I want to bring her in, everybody. This is Donetta. Can you see me, love?
Yep.
Okay, very, very good. Okay, and I can hear you perfectly and I can see you perfectly. I am actually excited to have you on tonight.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I appreciate
Yeah,
the love.
I worked in entertainment thing and you do the promotions, and I never really got a chance to sit down and say how proud of you I am, Dinetta, because you have done Toledo very, very well. You've stepped outside of the lines of Toledo, Ohio, and you have done your thing as far as representing this city. But you represent artists from all over, from
Yes,
every state, actually, right?
yes, I do.
Yeah, you do, and so I see your name everywhere. I think I even saw you at the big Gram. Was it the Grammy Awards, or it was the BET Awards, right?
That was 2 years ago. Last week I was at the Black Music Honor Awards in Atlanta, Georgia.
Okay, see, there you go. That's awesome, Donette. I'm
Yes.
so proud of you. You have come a long way. So, with that note, I have a few questions that I want to ask you, because obviously, in my opinion, you've become an icon in Toledo. You've represented yourself very well outside of Toledo, and Toledo is very proud of our social butterfly. But
Thank you.
let's ask you a couple of questions as a public figure, Donetta. How long have you been in business?
I've been in business since 2012.
2012. So that's actually a pretty good span of time.
Yes.
What actually drove Donetta Carter into, because were you always was you social butterfly or just Donetta? How did you get into, first of all, how did you get into what you do? And let's describe what it is that you do. How about that?
Okay. What got me into social butterfly? I was already a social butterfly before the name, but
Mm-hmm.
what got me into the business name, the social butterfly? I started doing business and health expos at the Indiana Avenue Missionary Baptist Church. The late Johnny Roberts, my former pastor, he allowed me to do a business and health expo and small businesses, entrepreneurs. And the reason why I wanted to do that, because I was a small business, I'm an independent travel agent as well. So I wanted to give the small businesses a platform to show their wares and their products to sell, or to get new customers, new clients, new revenue, whatever they could do to get their name out, to promote their brand, not only promote their brand, their logo, networking opportunities, and meeting other like-minded people like themselves.
Mm-hmm. I
Yep.
see. I see. Now, has this always been a dream of yours to do what you're doing right now? Like when you got out of college, because I know you're a soror sister. What was this your dream to do what you're
Uh,
doing?
I had the niche for it, but then I got pushed out there a little bit. I just touched the waters. No, my background is in social work. I have a master's in social work from the University of Toledo, and I have a BSW from Lord's College, Lord's University in Savannah. So
Mm-hmm.
this is my side entrepreneur, and I enjoy what I do. If I didn't enjoy it, I don't think I would be doing it for since 2012. That's a long time. 13, I think
Exactly.
13 years.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you gotta love it, huh? You gotta
You got
love it.
yeah, it has to be your passion. Sometimes you can find your niche, and if it doesn't work for you, you might want to test the waters and see how it goes. Give it a little chance. But if it's not working and it's not your passion and you're not loyal to it and you're not consistent and transparent and follow up, because that's my pet peeve, people that don't follow up. But I was told by two of my professionals, advisor, attorney, and accountant, everybody is not like you. Everybody don't follow up. So everybody has flaws. I have some flaws. I'm not perfect, but
Mm-hmm.
follow up. When you follow up, that shows me that you are serious about the business.
Exactly.
Whatever business you have, it doesn't matter what you have. If you're selling candles or if you're selling T-shirts, if you have a business, a janitorial business, if you don't follow up with me, that tells me something how you are as a person a little bit.
Mm-hmm. And so when you say follow up, you mean for vendors who are perhaps on a couple of your shows, do you mean?
Follow, yeah, the follow up on the small business expos, follow up because they said, well, I email you the now I got a website. Thank you, Jesus. I have a website, the Social Butterfly website. Uh, you go on the website. Before I used to send the forms out old school way, but I was told years ago, Donetta, you're going to have a website. You're getting too big. You need a website. And they were right when they
Mm-hmm.
were telling me you got to put everything online. You can't send out Google Doc forms. You can't send out PayPal invoices. You're working. I need to work smarter, not harder.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm
Mm-hmm.
like a one woman show, but I do have people help me like Kathy Claiborne, Debbie Harris, Benita Brazel, Sharice Norwood, Ayana Brownlee. I have lots of help. Manuel Mathis, lots of people that to assist me. But I'm like a one woman show, so I do everything to get prepared for these shows and
Mm-hmm.
for the fundraiser that I got coming up in August 16th. So I'm
Mm-hmm.
a one woman show, but I do have assistants at these shows.
Yeah, you have to have a pretty tight circle of support. I have a
Yeah.
really Rochelle is on right now and she says, "Thank you, sis. Hello, Donetta Carter." She's online. Hope you feel better, sis. Yeah, Darnetta, I agree with you. I've kind of been a one woman band my own self for a very long time, and it
Yeah.
took me a minute to realize really when Rochelle came into my life, she was my missing link, and I
Mhm.
realized I realized that yeah, she's the one I need in my life, and because she tells me the same thing that I'm the one that she needs in her life, and so we act as a really nice cohesive team. So I get the team support team really helps you. So I get that.
Oh,
And I've been to your events and your events are huge.
thank you. Thank you
Huge. I
so
mean, when
much.
you rent a space, you fill it in.
I said, most of the time I have a waiting list. I outgrew the space at Indiana Baptist at the Stevenson Roberts Fellowship Hall. I outgrew that space years ago. I knew I did because I get a waiting list, and now where I'm at now, I get a waiting list too. And that place is
Hmm.
twice as big where I was before. So I still
Yeah.
get a waiting list because there are a lot of small business owners. 95% are women, women of color or women, period. So 90 that more businesses came during COVID too. There were
Yeah,
already a lot of
absolutely.
businesses, small business owners, already entrepreneurs, but during COVID, lots of vendors, lots of entrepreneurs was thinking what type of business they want to do during COVID.
Hmm.
So we got lots of people, and I have a waiting list usually, people waiting for somebody to cancel or no show. Because you do have
Yeah.
people, they're no show, no call.
Hmm. I agree with you on the COVID thing because it ended up that there were so many people who started their own businesses when they wanted people to come back to work. I think they said 17% of the workforce didn't go back because they had already started their own businesses.
Exactly.
Yeah, yeah. So I
Yeah.
do agree with you. So one thing I do want to let everybody know is that Donetta not only does her own events for you guys, because what she does is she'll get a place, bring everybody together, and you all get in there at vendor tables and you sell your stuff. And it's not just people from Toledo. I have seen people from outside the state of Ohio come into Donetta shows and come to her venues. And so she would do that for you. So understand what this lady does. She actually puts together events that benefit the public.
Yeah, the community. We do have Mercy Health. They've been with me for 10 years. They do the
Hmm.
screenings for me. The
Hmm.
cholesterol, they check your cholesterol, your blood pressure, and your glucose level. And Mercy Health been a sponsor for many years. And I have to give a shout out to Fletcher Word. He has been with me from day one. He believed in my vision. He believed in me, period. He said, Donetta, you're on to something. Because what happened was it was small,
Hmm.
2012. And then what happened, the database of all these small businesses got bigger and bigger and bigger. And the more
Hmm.
I tried to downsize it, the more it kept getting bigger. I wanted to take a
Yeah.
break. People wanted to have shows during the COVID time. And I said, no, you can't have shows inside. So I had to think of
Yeah.
something to have it outdoors in a parking lot at a church or something
Hmm.
like that.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Hmm. Well, so that's another thing that sets you apart because you also think outside the box. You
Yeah.
do, because you don't let anything stop you. When you have something to do, you find alternative ways to get it done.
Yes, yes. You got to
Yep.
think outside the box. If you just stay in the little square, you're not gonna grow. You won't
Mm-hmm.
grow. You won't
Yeah,
grow.
I agree. I agree. Well, needless to say, Donetta Carter, the social butterfly, will be around for a long time, and we want to
Thank
see you
you.
around for a long time because we dig you, girl. We like what you do, and
Yeah.
you have a really good team. Again, you mentioned Fletcher, and you mentioned some of the ladies. So while we have an opportunity right now, you want to go one more round and give everybody a shout out that you think you should recognize today.
Oh yeah, Taylor Automotive Family. They've been a sponsor for many years. Good neighborhood family pharmacy on Manhattan. Their new pharmacy. I did their grand opening for Dr. Ali over there. He's sponsored me the last couple shows I had. So I appreciate all the sponsor. Wood Forest Bank, Huntington National Bank, Mr. Griswold at Executive Parkway, Valerie Walston over at the University of Toledo. She's the assistant to the vice president, Valerie Walston. I appreciate everybody. There's so many sponsors over the years, just so many to name. I can't remember everybody, but we have lots of sponsors coming through.
That's
And this
very, very good.
coming up August 16th, which is the 10th annual Motown Dinner and Dance Cruise. And the fundraiser will be for Operation Surprise Attack. Her name is Lisa Fulton. It's a nonprofit organization in Toledo. They assist with cards and gift cards and money for children that are sick and families and single mothers. So
Hmm.
that's who I'm doing a fundraiser for August 16th. We do have one bus, and the bus is almost full. It's half full. Tickets are selling fast. Tickets are located at Jack Menswear if you're driving, but if you're taking the charter bus, you need to see me for your bus seat and your ticket because I
Hmm.
only have one charter bus and the bus is filling up. And when the ticket, I just got the tickets last Thursday.
And that's a cruise, right? That leaves out of Detroit, right?
Right. But we have a charter bus leaving from Toledo, and I'll let the people know once they meet with me where the location where we're leaving from.
And what kind of activities will you have on the boat?
What we're going to do, we have the Prolifics. They're a Motown group from Detroit. They will be performing. I will do a presentation and present a check to Lisa Fulton for Operation Surprise Attack, a donation to her organization. So I'm doing a
Okay.
fundraiser. This is how I do the fundraiser to give back to the community.
Okay, that's
And there's
awesome.
food, live entertainment. There's food. There's good dining, all you can eat, cash bar. It's just a fun event, and you come back the same day. It's not an overnight. So we sail up to Canada and back to Detroit.
And the ticket price includes the food and the bus ride.
The ticket price is $85 per person. All you can eat, live entertainment. If you take in the charter bus, the ticket is $40 round trip.
Okay, so there's two purchases there.
Yes, that's
Okay,
correct. And they can reach
gotcha.
me, they can call me because it's been really busy. I cannot believe, I appreciate the support from Toledo people. Oh my God. They're very supportive. I'm overwhelmed. I'm overjoyed. My cup is full over for real. Um, they can reach me at 419-367-9765. They can call me for tickets. I will meet them and we can go from there. But the tickets are, I'm just letting people know now, there's one charter bus and the tickets are selling fast. That's
Gotcha.
all I
Yeah.
can say. They're selling
Okay.
fast.
So in other words, if you didn't get it, folks, she's telling you get your ticket now. Get it
Yeah,
now
get it
because
now.
there's only one bus so far. Because I've seen Donetta have to get two buses for some of her events,
Yeah.
but right now it's only at one, guys. And so it's a worthy cause. It's a really, really good cause, and I love what I'm hearing. I plan on being there this year. I was supposed to go
Oh,
last year
yes.
and messed around and broke my leg and couldn't
Yeah.
get anywhere. We got a couple of comments here in the comment section. I do have here's a question. What's your trick for getting sponsors? We need advice.
What I do, oh gosh, I started getting sponsors like the first 2 years I started, I didn't really have big sponsors like I do now. What I do, I build a relationship with that person or that company, and then I started out sending letters. Now I don't have to send letters. I just make a phone call or send an email and say, I would like for you to sponsor my event. This is what's happening. This is taking place. And then I do offer them, like if they sponsor the expo, I offer them a table and
Mm-hmm.
then I advertise their name on radio, television, newspaper. So it's like a bargain, like we even out like a bargaining.
Mm-hmm.
So That's what I do now. I don't have to send out letters because it's been since 2012.
So how did you decide who to choose initially? Like, did you say, hey, I'm going to stop at the car dealership and ask them if they want to sponsor this event, or I'm going to hit up one of the judge? How did you decide who to
Oh,
target?
well, for example, the one car dealership, they approached me,
Okay.
Terry Crosby. He's a community ambassador. Him and Tom Cole is a community ambassador. Steve Taylor is the owner of
Mm-hmm.
the Taylor Automotive. He approached me about it because they seen the worthy cause and the vision that I was doing, that I'm doing,
Absolutely.
and that I'm still doing.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, because
Yeah,
small business,
they're a big contributor to
lots of people.
community events. Lots and lots of people actually, yeah, because they I'm on a couple of different boards as well, and they've done beautiful, beautiful contributions to help us, succeed in our community causes as well. So yes, definitely shout out
Taylor
to
Automotive,
Terry Crosby
Taylor
and
Automotive
Taylor
fan.
Automotive. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
they're awesome. But I want to put a shout out in before we hang up, before I go away. Small Business Saturday is August the 24th, and that's over at Ottawa Park, and it's from 11 to 4. So
Mm-hmm.
it's a Small Business Saturday, and it's not as big as the expos at St. Clements Hall, but this is to nonprofit organization like Able. There'll be jury there, massage therapists. There'll be food trucks. There'll be Mike Williams on sax, live entertainment. We've been doing it over there for 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
It's called Small Business Saturday. August the 24th. It's a Saturday from 11 to 4. Free admission, free parking. Come and hear some live music. And DJ Stephen Wolf, he's been with me for over 11 years.
Mm-hmm.
DJ
So when
Stephen Wolf.
you get good people, you stick with them, huh?
Yeah, he's good. They love DJ Stephen Wolf, so he's been with me for a while.
I
At
love
least,
that.
at
Well, I
least, at
tell you
least
what,
11 years. 11
I
years.
11 years. Okay, I love that. I'll tell you what, I want to ask you one more question before we roll out of here, okay? Because all
Okay.
of the information that you gave as far as your events are concerned, we want to make sure. I think we got most of them posted on the Toledo to the World page on Facebook. So if anyone is
Okay.
interested in looking up information on Donetta Carter, you can go straight to her page at the Social Butterfly, or you can go for the events that she mentioned. We do have them on our Toledo to the World page. And so you can also reach Donetta if you're there, okay? So Donetta, my very last question to you is, um, how do you as a woman, and a mom, okay, a businesswoman, how do you juggle what you do with your family life? Because that's important, because we as women, we want to encourage other women who have the same situations that we have, that they can do it. What's your trick to what you do?
Well, I'm not going to say I balance everything out. What I do, I try to prioritize what's important and what's not important, and then still get to that anyway. But sometimes when I first started, I was doing too much, and they're telling me I still do too much because I promote it. I do marketing and promoting. I
Yeah.
market and promote for lots of people like Suzette at the Toledo Urban Federal Credit Union. I promote her
Mm-hmm.
events. I promote events for a lot of people in Toledo and
Mm-hmm.
outside of Toledo. Um, so what I do, I just pace myself, and then I have a calendar. I know I have a community calendar at home, and it tells me everything and where I'm supposed to be. And I try to not overdo it or try to overwhelm myself, because sometimes you got to woosah and just slow down a little bit. And some
Mm-hmm.
people say, Donetta, you do too much. No, you don't do enough. It's not that I do too much. It's just my energy and my spirit. It's just
Mm-hmm.
me. It's me, and I probably would never change because this is who I am. I
That's
am
who
who
you
I
are.
am.
Yep, that's your makeup. That's who you are. And with the help of God, you just plow right on through it.
Yeah, I'm just going through the motion. And then I had a wish list. I don't
Mm-hmm.
have bucket list. I have a wish list. I
Mm-hmm.
was wishing to go on the Tom Joyner Fantastic Void cruise, and I did do that this year in 2024. He's been doing it for 24 years, but I did make it in 2024,
And
and
you
I was
finally made it, huh?
I made it. It wasn't a bucket list because I ain't trying to kick the bucket right now. I
I
only
heard
got
that. I'm with you on the wish list, not the
I got
bucket
I have
list.
a wish list. I want people to change that mindset and quit saying bucket list. You got a wish list. You wish to do these things.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well,
Yes.
listen, Miss Lady, I am so glad that you were able to join us today. Is there anything that you'd like to say as we wrap this edition up?
I want to thank everybody that support the Social Butterfly brand public figure, Donetta Carter. I want to thank the people, especially on social media, how they share the post, comment, the contents that they put on. They put their information on that group page as well. And it tells me on the right side what the reach is because I can see the organic on each. Oh, you can't see it, but I can see it since I'm
Right.
the group administrator. Because a
Right.
lot of people, I just promoted something for the Corvette Club.
Mm-hmm.
They had a Corvette competition out there at Club Evolution last
Mm-hmm.
Saturday. I wasn't able to attend because I was somewhere else.
Yeah.
And the reach that he got on there, he said people came from Cleveland, Ohio, because they Cliff Majors. He said they came from Cleveland, Ohio, because they seen it on your page. They
Mm-hmm.
came from Cleveland to Toledo to this his event competition Corvette Club they had this past Saturday.
That's
So the
amazing.
reach is good. So if you posting things on, you want to join the Social Butterfly group page. You want to join that page because people do see your information in the reach, and then they share it with other people as well.
Yep, absolutely. I do agree with you. I do agree with you.
And I want to thank everybody. And first, thank God for giving me the vision and the niche and the mission to do this. Because
Mm-hmm.
without him, I couldn't do this. There's no way. And without people supporting me and helping me through the way as well.
Well, absolutely, girl. And I'm here as your sister to support you because you've
Thank
always,
you.
I've always had some help from you, one way or advice or one way or the other. You've been an
Thank,
inspiration to Toledo, and we're very happy to have had you on Toledo to the world. And I'm going to have you back. And in the meantime,
thank you.
everyone, please reach out and reach out to Darnetta's social media pages and make sure you join, like, okay, and subscribe, and reach out to her if you want to have some promotional help as well. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you, Darnetta Cutter. We will talk to you later.
Thank you so much. Bye
You're
bye.
welcome, honey. Bye bye. Okay, Danetta, you can hang up, sweetie.
Okay.
Okay, the next person on my list for our interviews today is Mr. Clayton Savage. Clayton, how are you? I'm going to bring you in. Hold on for 1 second. Well, hello there.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm well. Thank you for having me
Thank you
today.
for absolutely. Thank you for joining the show. So happy to have you on. And I want to right off the bat give Jonathan Coleman a shout out for making the connection between you and Toledo to the world. Very happy to have you here. So Clayton Savage, you are a veteran songwriter, a producer, a performer, and you, interestingly enough, were once signed to Sugar Hill Records back in the 1980s. Is that correct?
Oh yes, 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 yes,
Okay,
yes.
okay. Let's talk about that. First of all, where are you from, Clayton?
Virginia.
You
I
originally
come.
from?
Yeah, yeah. The Norfolk, Chesapeake, Virginia Beach. You know
Okay,
where y'all come to vacation. Uh,
yeah.
that's where I'm from.
So how is it that a fella from Virginia ends up getting signed to Sugar Hill Records at that time?
Got to get up and go. You know that's one of the key ingredients to success.
Mm-hmm.
Um, if it's not in your backyard, then it's in somebody else's backyard. So you got to get up and go. Um, I got up. I did the rounds. I gave myself. I had already cut me a demo or album. I had already put out. Um, I took some time off of work. And I financed myself to go up to New York, and I sat in Sony's and Universals, and well, they weren't Universal at the time, but if you name it, I sat in 4 major labels. Um, Lobbies. They all had my music, and Sugar Hill, being in New Jersey, was the last one on my list.
Okay.
Okay, and so Shantae, who was the A&R person at that time, she was in The Last Dragon
Mm-hmm.
with the big
Mm-hmm.
fro, and all that stuff.
Yeah.
She liked my music. The Prince thing was happening at that time, and I was one of the folks that kind of had that sound. Um,
Mm-hmm.
you know, you work with what's popular at the time, and
Right.
so you know that's not the whole me, but that's what was happening. Sugar Hill made me an offer. Actually, I walked into Joe Robinson's office. I came back up. I visited. I dropped it off. They called me back. They said, "Hey, we want to make you an offer." I came back up. Mr. Rob. I stopped in his office. Bob Dylan was there. He introduced me to Bob Dylan like I was somebody. He said, "Mr. Bob Dylan." He goes, "Clayton, you know Bob Dylan? Bob Dylan, this is Clayton Savage. You should get to
Mm-hmm.
know him. He's going to be a blah, 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 blah." I was like, wow, Bob Dylan's here. How many people see this rarity? And, then,
Uh-huh.
and they had respect for me. So I had a producer and a songwriter publishing agreement.
Okay.
So that's 3 agreements. That's
So
three
so
deals.
were you self-managed, or how did you decide on settling for that
I was,
agreement?
well, I had a manager and I had a lawyer, but and I took him up there with me, and everybody was kind of against it, right?
Okay.
Um, I had a good manager actually, Oscar JT, and Waverly Jones was the lawyer
Mm-hmm.
all for Norfolk. Tight circuit there, full of talent. But they were like, we don't think you should take the deal. And I'm like, I'm from Norfolk, Virginia. Really, and on the low, I'm from Stony Creek, Virginia, which is a farm. So it was like, I'm
Yeah.
like, let me see how this is going to work out. I have no chance, nothing's happening here, or I'm going to jump up here and I'm going to use this as a tree branch and
Mm-hmm.
climb the ladder.
Okay.
So so it was my decision anyway, because managers work for you, lawyers work for you, you pay them, they don't pay you.
Right.
Nobody was offering me anything else. So boom, that's how that went. Um,
Okay.
I got up there immediately. They were what were they working on? Beach Street. Beach Street? Was it Beach Street? Yeah, no, it might have been Beach Street.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was thrown into the fire right then. That's like 1 minute you're outside of the bit or riding parallel to the
Yeah.
business. You know what I mean? Where
Mm-hmm.
you're not really in the business, but
Yeah.
you're in the business because you're
Yeah.
performing. And the next minute somebody walks you through a door and sits you down at a table and you're in the business.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
you gotta be ready, you gotta be quiet, you gotta pay attention because no
That's
matter what you brought.
That's very, very important that you said that, because I have been on that side of the table as well with a couple of other artists that I represent, and it's very important. Number one, that you listen. Listening is if you talk too much, you turn them off, and you will be outside that door before you know it. That's number one. So always help you. Number one, have some representation at the table, because if your manager has something to say, they'll say it. But the thing is if they say something that's a little off kilter, you won't take the brunt of it. Your manager will, and you still have your
Mhm,
foot in the door.
mhm. Yep,
You still have your foot in the door. So
yep.
that's always very, very good advice. And nowadays, you want to meet with these A&Rs of different companies, they won't even meet with you if you don't have a manager. So it's a good idea not to just have any manager, but a manager, number one, that has your best interest in view when it comes to a contract or signing with the company. They need to represent you. They need to make sure your best interest is taken at heart. And then secondly, you have to have a good relationship with that person and understand that you'll work with them for from here to the next 10 years. So it's very important. You did very well. Now as far as what you do today, because how long were you signed with the record label?
I was there a year or so. Melly Mel and I, we shared the album. My solo album got integrated into. I became like that hidden sixth member of the Furious Five. So
Okay. Oh,
I was a session musician. So I was
okay.
playing on a lot of tracks for a lot of people come through Sugar Hill, believe it or
Okay.
not. A lot of folks.
Mm-hmm.
And so I replaced the wood, brass, and steel band that was there because I was a multi instrumentalist. It's not to say that they weren't, but that's what was happening.
Mm-hmm.
I guess nobody really explained it to me because nobody ever explains anything to you.
Yeah.
So I didn't know that they were leaving because they weren't being exited, but they were a full time band. That was the house band that played Rapper's Delight and on all all the great Sugar Hill stuff that you
Wow.
like Apache and all that. Doug Wimbush,
Yeah.
Skip McDonald, Keith
Mm-hmm.
LeBlanc, just to name a few. And then they brought me in, and then so those guys were gone, and it was me. And so I was playing all the instruments for everybody that came through as a sessionist. I was working on my own album, and Joey Robinson Jr., who's vice president, comes up and he says, "Hey, Clayton, it'd be a good idea to take your song and put Mel on it." That was the song "We Don't Work for Free,"
Okay.
um, which had been part of my demo,
Mm-hmm.
and from there I started working on Mel's album. It was Melly Mel and the Furious Five, but Mel and I were in the studio predominantly. In
Mm-hmm.
fact, I cut a bunch of tracks. Scorpio walked in and said, "I like this one, I like that one, I like that one." And Mel, we were working on 1984. That's the album. So
Yeah.
it just kind of like all got mushed together, which is par for the course. That's the
Mm-hmm.
business. What makes the label happy and what the label thinks is going to work is going to work.
Yeah.
What I wasn't was officially part of the band at that time. So that's
Okay.
why you don't see me in a bunch of pictures. There are
Mm-hmm.
pictures and videos. If you go on YouTube and Google Melly Mel and the Furious Five, We Don't Work
Mm-hmm.
for Free,
Mm-hmm.
or Pump Me Up and things like, I'm in all the videos, playing
Okay.
instruments, singing, performing.
Uh-huh.
And speaking of performing, that's when I took the big leap from being a local performer in my past and having traveled, the Southern Belt,
Yeah.
Virginia, Carolina, the surrounding areas like that,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
military bases in Virginia Beach,
Mm-hmm.
to, okay, our first gig's going to be in California at Sly Stone's performing where the 86 Olympics or something like that,
Mm-hmm.
boom, oh man, I was still overdressed and I almost killed myself. I had a turtleneck on. I mean, I thought it was cute. You know what I'm saying? It was like, it was like, go spend some of this money and buy you some clothes.
Right.
I didn't know what to buy.
Yeah.
This is before they had their clothes made by Mickey, a gentleman named Mickey. Mickey Benton. And
Okay.
so they were all in the leather, the Earth, Wind, and Fire looking, the
Yeah.
stage gear. You look like stage gear.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, I'm out in California. I got to hurry up and buy. I don't know what I bought. I bought it before I went, but I can tell you this: I almost choked to death. It was. I mean, it's absolutely. You don't have no idea how hot it is in California. I'd never been to California, and
Yeah.
I'm trying to be cute in a turtleneck on the stage, and we're dancing, and I'm just like, man, I'm about to pass out in a minute now. Just, woo, do the steps.
You don't know unless you know. That's the truth.
That's how you find out.
So let me ask you something then, because you got signed as a solo artist, right?
Yes.
And then you kind of got integrated
Yep.
in between everything else. Did you feel a certain type of resentment about that you were not really being focused on for Clayton Savage, because they were really putting you in place of other people, almost not on the back shelf, because you were getting paid and you were performing, but you signed as Clayton Savage.
Never felt
So
that way. I never felt that way.
okay.
Because one, Mel and I shared that album. I mean, I'm all over. If you ever get a chance to listen to it, and it's online, you'll hear me
Mhm.
singing all over I mean, we got ballads. I'm singing ballads like Yesterday and things like that. I'm just
Mhm.
all over the place. Plus, I'm all in the music. I'm playing all, like 90% of the instruments.
Yeah.
So,
Mhm.
and I'm writing on it as well. So I'm integrated. Man, I'm a team player. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
That's
Plus,
what it sounds like. It sounds
I'm
like you're a
learning.
team
I'm
player.
learning a lot too, because I'm
Yeah.
like, I really don't know what's going on because nobody's really explaining anything. It's like
Yeah.
it's like man, you better know how to swim.
Yeah.
you know,
You
nobody.
just got in there and you just doggy pedaled from one
You
thing to the next until you picked
man,
up the experience and you just fell into the groove of things
I was
then.
broad stroking. I ain't gonna lie to you, and I was backstroking too. I was tightening up on my backstroke because it also came with being on live, being on that stage, being live.
Yeah.
Like all of a sudden, we weren't just in California. We were going around the world. We were in Japan. We were,
Yeah.
going. We were all over England,
Yeah.
and it was very weird because, well, it's weird, but I want folks to know that hip hop is in the earth everywhere. Like our
Mhm.
hip hop.
Yeah.
Everywhere I went, when I got to Japan, man, I was looking for a Bruce Lee movie. Okay, everybody looked like us.
Yeah.
Everybody. I
Wow.
was like, oh, am I still in New York? What's happening here? I mean, the faces are different, but everybody's kind of talking like us, with a bit of an accent.
Yeah.
And so you go to England, and England really admires black music to
Mhm.
begin with,
Yeah.
and black artists, and it's a different kind of love there.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
it's
I've actually heard that, but you got yourself back here. Now, what made you decide to part ways with Sugar Hill?
oh, it got weird. Got a little weird.
Okay.
um, there are things that I didn't do, because I was in the studio all the time. If I wasn't, like, I didn't really want to go on the road, but I was in there just making music, doing recording. That's all I was into it for.
Okay.
Then we go on the road, and then we came back, and everything that was weird that was supposed to happen, I guess, that was beginning to happen before I got there because Mel, Flash, and those guys had split their ways.
Mm-hmm.
I'm working with Mo D. Um, Not really the Treacherous Three. I'm working with Guy. Guy is Master G. Not really the Sugar Hill Gang. I'm working with the West Street Mob, but that's not really a band. And then I'm working and Cheryl the Pearl, who's Sylvia Robinson's protege, really
Mm-hmm.
great female producer. And I have to say female, but only so that people know that she was already there writing for the boys,
Yeah.
ghost writing for the boys and doing all these tracks beforehand. And Sylvia Robinson herself, excellent producer. I learned that you can cook chicken in your house, listen over the phone, and detect, whether a song has it or not.
Yeah.
You learn these subtleties. I got
Yeah.
to work with the engineer Steve Jerome, the king of the throne, who
Mm-hmm.
was
Mm-hmm.
Quincy Jones' original engineer.
Yeah.
And when we came back off of the road, let's just say some shenanigans was going on.
Okay.
And they were going to use Clay as a scapegoat because Clay's
Ah.
the new guy. Nobody knows what's going on. I'm not going to be the scapegoat. I don't know
Yeah.
what's happening now. So it's time for me um, to see what else I can do. And
Mm-hmm.
coincidentally enough, Jerry Griffith, who actually found and discovered Whitney Houston, who signed her
Okay.
originally, he had gone over to Capitol EMI Manhattan
Mm-hmm.
record.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when I met my next manager, Dwayne Snipe. And Dwayne, and now you start to realize how relationships work. I
Mm-hmm.
guess I got lucky the first time.
Mm-hmm.
I was just sometimes you're just the cup of sugar that they're looking for,
Yeah.
and you get to be part of the Kool-Aid.
Yeah.
So Dwayne brings me back around to Jerry, and Jerry's like, "Oh, I already heard his music. I left it the first time I heard it." And I'm like
Okay.
looking at him, I'm like, "Wait a minute. You mean that week that I was sitting up here, you were listening?" And he goes, "Yeah, I wanted to sign you then." And then he goes, "But eh, yeah, 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 you know." And I'm like, "No, I don't." But but I mean, and to this day, I don't really know what
Yeah.
they, but I kind of know. I
Yeah.
kind of got it. Um, I was what, 19 at the time. Now I'm like
Okay.
19, almost
Oh,
20. But
okay.
and Capital says, "Man, this kid's producing himself. Um, we ain't never had a producer that young, and we don't know if we're gonna let that happen.
Mm.
Let's just throw him in the studio for a week and see what he comes out with." You know,
Mm-hmm.
I didn't. They didn't tell me it was for a week or if it was for a month. All I know is they threw me in the studio.
Okay.
I got in the studio and handed them 3 songs by the end of the week. I was in there with Chris Lord Alge, who's one of the most famous engineers out there, who was also trained by Steve Jerome. He came from
Mm-hmm.
Sugar Hill. A lot of engineers came to Sugar Hill.
Yeah.
And we just got in there with that SSL board, which was new at the time. And
Mm-hmm.
I worked fast.
Yeah.
I'm a sessionist. I knew what I wanted. I went in there. Chris and I we hashed it out. By the end of the week, I handed them in to three tracks. Bruce Lundvall said, "Amazing, yeah, we got
Yeah.
to sign you." Boom, I had a deal. You know, you walk in Mother's Records, your face is hanging everywhere. You turn on Video Soul or Video LP, and your track is playing. Everything's going groovy. Now, see that look on your face?
Yeah.
Because everything's going groovy. My
Yeah.
song "Virgin Lover" hit. There were no black charts at the time, so
Mm-hmm.
but it was number one with the DJs, even in my
Yeah.
hometown. Now, if you're number one in your backyard, you got something going on because they don't know who
Exactly.
you are. The radio
Yeah.
station, it's all happening. Once again, I'm floating in the boat, kind of
Yeah.
by myself. I'm like, man, just nobody's explaining nothing to me, you
Mm-hmm.
know. And if you want to ask any questions right now, this is a good time to
Well,
ask.
you know what? One of the things that I know is when you sign a contract, you for the most part, when they sign you initially to a contract, you have a non-compete, number one. The number two, did you not have that? Because now you had a contract that you decided to walk away from and you wanted to step into a different arena. How did that work for you?
I don't know.
Okay. It just happened, huh?
I mean, I know it. I know gifts were exchanged.
Okay.
Um, it happened. I
Got
mean,
you.
I mean, honestly, the exits are more mysterious than the entrances.
Okay, got
You
you.
know, the
Well,
entrances
the
are,
only thing I'm thinking about is that they may not have wanted to really put up too much of a gruff about it because they were kind of on shaky ground themselves, And so if they're on shaky ground and they had just had a outflux of people and now they're trying to figure out what they're going to do next, my guess is they weren't going to fight anybody else that were going to leave because then they have some legal battles on their hands that they probably didn't want to mess around and pay for.
well, here's where old Clay ended up being the scapegoat. At this
Mhm.
particular moment in time, we have someone named Tipper Gore, who I thought was a guy. When they
Oh
said Tipper
no.
Gore, I said, it's got to be
That's
a
the
bat.
white. That's the wife.
Gotta be. I thought it was a baseball player, and I wondered what he had to do with the music industry.
Yeah.
This is when I unfortunately got the first parental warning the Capitol ever had. So aside from being the
Mhm.
youngest producer they ever allowed to produce and to do his own album art,
Yeah.
I got that warning label.
Okay.
This happened, which was one belly blow. You know, it's like, oh my gosh. I'm like, but I didn't say any. The word virgin was all I said.
Oh yeah.
Just the word virgin.
Yeah.
I don't know if the artists know these days how good they got it.
Yeah.
You know,
They got it good because now and when I was messing around doing some iHeartMedia stuff, I would tell the artist, you have to bring me a censored song. They're not gonna play that, and the engineer is gonna charge me out of the wazoo to sit and bleep out it's every other word, which is
yes,
why I tell artists right now, okay, you got your live version of your song. It's explicit, is what it is, but you need to have a second version of your song because they crack down on everything now especially if it's before 7 to 6 o'clock.
before
They
10
kind of
for
they let a
sure.
few things
Before 10,
slide,
there's
but not
something before
much.
10.
Right
It
before
happens
10.
after,
Okay.
and after 10 is definitely
Yeah.
for the independent channels that are on iHeart.
Mm-hmm.
It's after 10.
Right.
For the mainstream channels, you might as well say it's all night long. Uh,
Pretty much.
Here's a tip: if you want to make money in this business, if you want your music to really be able to do what it can do for you, you can leave the cuss words out
Mm-hmm.
because that clean version is really the first version.
Right.
That's the version people are going to hear the most. You got to kind of go
Mm-hmm.
out of your way to hear the dirty one. And then you
Mm-hmm.
got to also understand, just like movies, when somebody's doing the family, when Eddie Murphy was doing Eddie Murphy, he made some money,
Mm-hmm.
but he made more money as Donkey. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. The
So
cartoon.
where the families are, where that's where you want your music to be.
Right.
That's
Well, let me bring you up because we got about 10 minutes here. Let me
sure.
bring you up to date because you've given a lot of advice already to some of the artists that I hope will eventually hear this because this is going to run on YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook. First of all, what are you doing right now?
Right now, I have Red K Records. I release my music like I've always been doing since I was 16.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I'm working on a big album right now, and I'm going to restructure all of my distribution and narrow that down because as the internet came along, I was caught up in the swell of things too. It's like, should I be
Mm-hmm.
here? Should I be there? Should I be here? I kind of want to streamline it all in one place.
Gotcha.
I'm at the executive level of production, so
Mm-hmm.
I'm a contact sometimes. I mean, if you're trying to figure out how to do it, I'm one of those people that knows how to do it
Yeah.
and who to get it done with. So you're not just throwing your money out there because there's a lot of stuff that goes on. You know,
Mm-hmm.
the predators. They got super hearing, and they can hear you.
They
They can
have
hear
super
you.
hearing and X-ray vision.
Yes,
That's what
yes,
I say.
yes,
Got X because they can see straight through. If
yes.
you're vulnerable or not. They
Yep,
have
they
the
hear. It's like,
ability to
ooh,
do
oh,
that.
who's in the room? Using one of those buzzwords
Yeah.
like
Exactly.
branding. I'm
Yeah.
working on my brand. Those,
Yeah.
anytime there's a popular term out there, beware. You should just be
Yeah.
working on you.
Yeah.
If you're successful and you're consistent, then your brand will emerge.
Exactly.
You
And you
can't.
know what? You have enough experience in the game because considering where you were, you have a lot of really high powered, probably to this day, high powered connects, I would imagine, right?
The top, the
Yep.
top
Top
of the top,
connects.
the top of the
Exactly.
top,
So
and I know where they are. Also, I know
Mm-hmm.
where the bodies are buried. I know, I mean, but I mean,
You know,
I can,
from the living to the dead,
yeah,
huh?
I mean, I can put my hands on anyone, but I
Yeah.
also know that when you're trying to be an independent or when you want to be independent, let's just face it, everybody's going to spend somewhere between $10,000 and $50,000 in this trying to be independent, thinking they
Yes.
understand what's going on. You know, no
Exactly.
more, most people, 99% of the people know no more about this than they would about building a rocket.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing to stop you from spending your money and building a rocket. But do
Right.
you know what you're doing? Do you
Right.
really know what you're doing for every piece and part that there
Yeah.
is and every
And most
rule that
times
is?
people do not. And a lot of the ones who have gained experiences because they did what you did. They left their city and they went looking for it. They went to find the path. And
Yep.
I tell everyone that is key. Get out of your city. You've got to go to where your music is being sought. Can you do it socially? Yeah, you pretty much have to have 20, 50, 70,000 followers to make a difference or to make a paycheck and then hope that they all share your music as well. But everybody is doing this now. And so you're in a big pool of competition right now. So it really does help to know people like Clayton Savage, who can actually help you
Debbie
avoid a
Sue.
lot of the pitfalls that are out here. And I'm sure you've been a mentor to many young people or many new starting artists. I'm sure you have. I can hear that you've probably tried to warn a few people along the way.
The listening part, the Deborah Sue, the listening is the listening. It's the listening
Mm-hmm.
they got to do. They got to understand. Here's the deal. Madonna said it, and it's still true. Don't take it negatively. If you can't be used, you're useless.
Mm-hmm.
I walk in the room with all my skills and ask, how can I help?
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
Mm-hmm.
I come in with that question. How can I help?
Yes.
Most people they think it doesn't matter whether it's that 30-second, elevator moment that they have that they earn
Mm-hmm.
1 second. It's not 30 seconds altogether. It's 1 second at a time, up to 30
Mm-hmm.
seconds. By the end of 30
Right.
seconds, that person knows if they want to work with you or not. They'll hand you a
Right.
card, if you're lucky enough to get around them. But really, you just come in. I've always known you come in the room and you're ready to help.
Yeah.
Whether you're sweeping, getting the pizza, getting the coffee, they know what talent knows talent.
Mm-hmm.
The pros know why you're there. You don't have to burn them out with your list of wants. They know why you're
Right.
there. Everything is
Exactly.
here. Every
Yeah.
single part of entertainment is here. Don't
Mm-hmm.
think you're gonna amaze them by telling them, oh, well, I want to be able to sing and I want to dance. I want, you're like that which way is up character where he said, you want
Yeah.
all flat for $2. So Richard Pryor said, won't sit over there by the blind fella. Here's your
Exactly.
$2. Take your two
Exactly. And
dollars and go sit down.
I try, another thing too, I think that the artists get a little bit misled on now is that labels are not out here offering big offers like they were before. I don't know what they signed you for, but they're not doing, 500,000 and a million and 2 million offers anymore, unless you are that spectacular Whitney Houston or Mariah that walks in and they know they have a gold mine on their hands.
If you
But
haven't
for
been
the
selling a million, you can't ask for a million. That's the
exactly.
weirdest conception, right? What a weird misconception, but
No,
it's been
really, you
sold.
know what? Really, it's not. And that's what I have been trying to relate to people. One of the things that they've asked me is, what do your numbers look like? That's one of the first things in the morning. One of the execs told me, he says, well, what does his numbers look like? Because that'll tell us. And we need to also see that he can sell tickets. Are you tracking his ticket sales or his sales or what have you? And when I tell artists that, they think that's too much work. But guess what? That's what they're going to ask you because they need to know that you are worth investing in.
That's the business. That's the business part. Everything other than you singing on the mic is the business. To
Hmm.
the selling of the mic, to how the mic got to you, and why you're on the mic, and why you'll be on the mic.
Exactly. Because we know you can sing, that, like you said, that's the 10% of it. The other 90% of it is the business part. We want to know, or they want to know in particular, do you have the business uh, do you have enough knowledge of your business to understand that this is a business and they run it like a business? They know you can sing. You can ask some of the most talented people, and if you don't know the business and you don't have I tell everyone, before you even think about talking to somebody or accepting an offer, you better make sure you have your business handled. That means your copyrights. That means all your ownership papers. That means your website. That means your EPK. That means, are you registered with the music houses? It's like, do you have a professional portfolio? because they don't want to guess about you. They want to be able to quickly know that you can sing or know that you can rap, whatever your genre is. They'll look and listen to that, and then they'll want to know, well, do you own everything that you represent that you're trying to bring to me? Don't get me in copyright trouble. Don't get me in distribution trouble. And how about this? And where's your manager? Because we know if you have a manager and you've been paying a manager, then your manager should have your business taken care of for you. Okay.
Amen.
There you
Amen.
go.
Knock,
So
knock.
I'm so happy that you backed me up on that, because I preach this over and over and over again. And like you said, the listening ear is just not there when it comes to telling people you've got to put in the work. And they just want to be the performer, and it's so much more than just that,
It's not magic.
unfortunately.
It looks like magic. And when it comes to the music business, for some reason, out of
Mm-hmm.
all the businesses that I've encountered, they think it's magic.
Mm-hmm.
Like they loot the business part seems to elude them.
Yeah.
It's no different. It's the
Mm-hmm.
same. It's the same as a hospital. It's got a boardroom. It's got accounting. It's got accounts receivables. There are numbers. It
Mm-hmm.
doesn't matter. Airline numbers. It doesn't
Right.
matter what it is. Trains numbers. There are
Absolutely.
numbers. Lies. Don't go out here and buy these YouTube lies. Do not go out here and buy these bots. They know that it's lies. What makes you think that you're going to fool a person in their own system? It's unbelievable.
Say that again. That part right there.
I don't know how you think that you're
That
going to
part
fool
right
Spotify.
there.
How you going to fool the guy who runs the company and you're going to suddenly appear with 100,000 hits all of a sudden,
Listen.
and you got nobody knows who you are.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, you're hearing it straight from the lion's mouth. Okay, listen. And here's another thing. They actually, I believe, YouTube and Instagram at this point they are so good at honing in and tracking these bots now. Not only will they kick them off and give you one warning, but the second warning, you'll get kicked off the platform.
They don't even have to track the bots. It's implausible. That's the thing. Look up the word implausible if you don't. Plausibility. Look it up.
Mm-hmm,
It's
mm-hmm,
impossible for you to go from 0 to 100,000
uh-huh.
overnight. It's just
Right.
freaking him. The guy or girl that's selling you that is selling
Yeah.
you some wolf tickets, man.
Exactly. So be very careful how you deal with that. And even if you are a person who has 40, 50,000 followers and you bump that up another 20 overnight,
You're
again,
allowed. See, you're allowed to do it, but you better have a reason that explains why it happened and why
yeah.
it'll be consistent.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that sudden boom. That happened to Ella May. Ella May was very, she was creeping along. I've been watching her for years before she even got famous. And then you saw her numbers growing by leaps and bounds and leaps and bounds. And all of a sudden, boom, she was signed to a label. And now we see her with records all over the place. But for her, it's believable. She's plausible that her numbers would jump by 10, 20,000 because of what she was doing at the time. And she got to a certain point where she literally was blowing up and her numbers went, exponentially high. You see why. And you see
That's
why.
called the pre-sign. See, you
Mm-hmm.
make it inside the business before you make it outside. Before
Mm-hmm.
everybody becomes aware of you on the outside, you're buzzing inside the business, and that's why
Exactly.
those numbers are growing, because they're
Yep.
setting the thing that the ends are connecting.
Mm-hmm.
Things are connecting. Your people are connecting with the services that are provided are happening. Everybody
Exactly.
knows about you, and so
Exactly.
you put a couple of million of those people knowing about you, and yes, your numbers grow. The
Exactly.
outside world, the majors know how to deal with it. Don't believe the hype. You still need a major to do major
Don't you
numbers.
said don't believe the hype. I like that. You've
you,
made so many. You've
you ain't
made
gonna
so
sell a
many.
million records without them boys. Oh no. This is
You've
their
made some
rodeo. This is
iconic
their
statements
party.
tonight. You've made some iconic statements. I'm telling you some of the stuff. I'm like, oh man, that is a statement to say. That remember that right there. So then, Clayton, let me ask you something. You said you've got some, some stuff in the works right now.
Yep.
Are you still performing and traveling right now? Or are you pretty much just in the studio?
I'm in the studio right now, but I'm planning to get back out there. I
Okay.
really want to do this thing a certain kind of way. That putting my resources and my knowledge completely behind me,
Mm-hmm.
not hybriding it. So you know what I'm saying? Just taking advantage of everything that I got. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I, it's just one of those things I've never really done.
Yeah.
Maybe completely being in front of the camera. That's
Mm-hmm.
I mean, look at you. You do it so well. Your pictures. I'm looking at your pictures. You got the big microphone. You just smile.
Yeah.
Um, I am. I'm from that era where there was all that behind you, and all that is still kind of behind you, but it's a little different now. It's you've got it going for yourself, and I know enough, and I have enough resource to get it going for myself the way that I want it to go for myself. Uh,
Yeah.
I've
You got
traveled
the
the
gas. You
world.
got the gas now. That's what I call you got the
Yeah,
gas. You have the
yeah,
experience. You're not
yep.
starstruck anymore. You know, you're here for the business. You're here to get
Man,
it
I was
taken
never
care of.
starstruck, but I was struck. I mean, it is lightning because I mean, you name it. I mean, Aretha Franklin. I'm on the cover of one of her albums. I've watched Astrid and Simpson. I can, I've sat at the table with Astrid Simpson, Reverend
Wow.
Al Sharpton, and all these folks all at once. And Nona
Yeah.
Hendricks. The whole Capitol. Because on the inside is the inside. It's
Hmm.
weird, but on the inside, everybody's there. Everybody, it's up to you not to go to Puffy's house for the party. It's not that you
Listen.
can't get in.
We're gonna touch on that subject on another day. Well, listen,
Yeah.
let me tell you something. The name of this podcast is Toledo to the World, and even though you're not from Toledo, we welcome you into Toledo any given time you want to come here because we are truly and we're an entertainment mecca on our own. We're just a little bit smaller.
Yes, you are.
We have singers, we have rappers, country artists, producers, we have upscale recording studios here. We only hours south of Detroit, the Motown. So, and we're rivals with Michigan in every kind of way. You know about the Ohio and Michigan rivals, so we rub off on each other, if you will. And so a lot of that talent comes through this way, and a lot of it, before they even reach Detroit, will come through Ohio in some type of way, whether it's Cleveland, Columbus, or Toledo. And so, but the one thing that we're trying to do on this podcast is to let entertainers and artists such as yourself let you know that Toledo hears you. We hear you and we see you, and we want to make sure if you come through Toledo, you definitely got to stop and see Deborah Sue.
Yes,
Okay,
ma'am.
you come see Deborah Sue, and I'm gonna definitely get you back on my podcast. I'm looking forward to your release. If you can keep in touch with me and let me know when you're having your release, I'll definitely try to help you on my end as
Well,
far as
I've got one
promotion
out
is
now
concerned.
called Legion. It's the new one that's coming up that's going to blow that one out the water. But
Okay,
Legion is out now. So
Legion is out
yep, it's
now.
streaming.
Okay,
It's streaming. You can get any of your favorite places that you like to listen to music.
okay,
Clayton's there. You can research me. You can go back albums, man. You can go back 5, 6 albums, and
okay.
find me. I enjoy I used to live in Cleveland for a while, so I
Mhm.
know, I've got a couple of DJ pools that are there that are tight. I
Yeah.
know how Ohio rolls. I also know
Okay.
historically, Dayton is the home of the Ohio players and
That's
Roger
right.
Troutman and all
Okay.
of
All
them.
right.
So
You
come
got us.
on,
You
come
got it
on, man,
down then. Okay.
come
Well,
on.
Ohio is full of talent and Toledo
It
is on
really
that
is.
board. So we shout out Toledo today.
See, I'm
So
coming down. I
listen,
need to come down to Toledo and see what's popping.
you
Capping.
do. Trust me,
Come
you really do need to come here and find out because I had one guy said he hadn't even heard of Toledo until he came here and he's like, this is Toledo? We just recently, not too long ago, had an old school group here, and they were like, "This is Toledo." The Minister Society crew all came down, and they gave a show, pretty much a sellout show, and they could not believe how live Toledo was.
Yes, yes.
And
Ohio
so
will surprise you.
Ohio will surprise you. So Toledo's on that map. So listen, Clayton, thank you so much for coming on. Is there anybody you'd like to give some personal shout outs before we get going here?
Giving a shout out to my main assistant. That's my executive assistant. That's D. The mighty D. She keeps me in line. She makes sure that I'm on time for everything. Jonathan Cole, that's my J. Cole. J. Cole is my man. You
There
know
you
what I'm saying?
go.
I love watching him grow and I love helping him grow. He's gonna be
Yes,
he's gonna be big in the PR business.
I believe that.
704 DJs, Rebel D, Rebel 107.9. That's Dizzy D and the boys. Columbia Record Pool, because the Record Pool, Starfleet Music. One of my young producers, Jay May, that's from Chesapeake, Virginia. That's
Mhm.
somebody who impressed me, and we do quite a bit of tracks together. A Man of Beats, Mr. HD, we're doing tracks together. My man DJ in New York City Ken, you know, them's my peoples,
That's
if
awesome. That's
let
awesome.
them reach out to you or they can reach me through D at Red K Records. That's Red K, that's letter K Records. If you can't figure out Red K Records, you're not ready. You're just not ready, okay?
You
Go
guys
explore.
be you guys make sure you go check out my guy Clayton Savage and make sure you check out his new his release Legend
Legion,
and Legion.
Legion.
Okay. And
Savage, please, black people, take the hell out of Savage. It's Savage, not salvage.
Right,
please.
Savage. No L in there, people. No L. All right, love. Well, listen, before we cut out here, we're at 6:59. You're going to cut us off here in just a few minutes. Thank you so much for coming on. And anybody that wants to get in touch with Clayton, make sure you get in touch with him directly, or you can reach out to me and I'll make those connects for you. Okay. Shout
Thank you,
out to my
Queen.
guy, too, J. Cole.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes, shout out to him. And listen, Toledo, take care of yourselves. Thank you all for joining us wherever you are in the United States. And we hope to see you again next Thursday for more special guests. Thank you again, Clayton. We'll talk to you later, honey.
Peace. See ya.
Okay, bye bye.
Bye now.